Feliz Dia de los Muertos, everyone, and welcome to the finale of our SpiritBear actual play, They Sleep Amongst Stars, a Follow Me Down two-shot with a sci-fi and very queer perspective. We are so glad and honored to have you with us on the Otso SpiritBear Twitch channel. To kick us off, I'll be introducing our incredible cast as well as our tech producer for this evening. I am ValiantDorian. I use him, his pronouns. I am a ttrpg performer, GM, writer, and Twitch variety streamer. You can find me all across the internet at ValiantDorian or at Otso SpiritBear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just set you on. And tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing your misbeloved Jericho, who is our Orpheus and uses he, him pronouns. I will also be portraying the Fates in this game. And before we go over gameplay and how to support us further, I'm honored to introduce my scene partner, Victor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Victor. I use they, he pronouns, and I am a ttrpg performer, writer, designer, and all-around little funny man. I forgot. I had like a good button on that. Yeah, you can find me at villainvicencio all over the internet. And tonight I will be portraying Santiago, who uses he, him pronouns, and is the Eurydice.
And tonight, our stalwart tech producer, the one making sure everything looks good and functions, is none other than Connie Chong, who you can find all across the internet at by Connie Chong. That is BYCONNIECHANG. And please go follow them. We've got cool stuff happening. And to move on to all of the housekeeping before we get started, They Sleep Among Stars is a two-shot actual play utilizing Follow Me Down. It is a two-player PBTA game developed by Johnny Moon Studios. It is a game inspired by the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. We, however, will be exploring a queer and sci-fi perspective of this tale, and we're very, very excited to showcase this to you all. We will be changing some aspects of the game, but keeping to the core themes of each book. For more information about the game, please use !follow me down in chat for more information about the game. The music for this actual play is brought to you by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech Music. He produces royalty-free music and licensed it under the Creative Commons license. The list of songs we use for each session can be found in the music panel below. To check out his song, please visit incompetech.com. Now, if you're enjoying our show, They Sleep Among Stars, please consider donating and leaving us a tip. The funds raised will be distributed evenly between our tech producer and our cast. Use !donate in chat to support us. The Ko-fi goal is above there. Let's see if we can hit 100 before the end of the show. Thank you very much. And now, before we get started, one of the most important aspects is content warnings. The content warnings for this two-shot include fantasy violence, death of loved ones, complex and complicated relationships, grief, descriptions of calamity, descriptions of the vastness of space, fire, manipulation, monsters and monstrosity, and doppelgangers. Please be safe, everyone. Your safety is paramount to us, and whenever you need, use !CW in chat to read up on your content warnings anytime. Thank you all so much, and Vic, it's time for you to torment me. I'm ready for it.
All right then, darling. For once, when you wake up, you're in a place you don't recognize. There's hard, marbled stone beneath you, and enormous columns on the south side of you These large columns illuminate the place you are in and drip strangely in long weeping paths down their circular surface. And when the drips hit the floor, some stay still, creating a thick-looking residue, while others glitch and restart from the top of the columns, where the light comes from. Otherwise, it's a little hard to see.
Oh, that's not good. This weird substance, am I able to avoid it, or is it just kind of everywhere around me?
You're able to avoid it. It stays at the bottom of these large columns.
Okay. I will, as Jericho, trepidatiously begin shifting around to avoid that. I think what I'm going to try and do as Jericho is look for light, and he's kind of hugging close to the columns just so he can get a better understanding of his surroundings. But the entire time he's looking for any hint of Santi, the path, and he kind of mumbles to himself, okay, past couple of times there's always been a little item, a little doohickey that's gonna help me move forward. Is there a fun item that I can find around here? And he looks down at the substance and furrows his brow. As long as it's not down there. And I will continue skirting around that weird substance near the columns and try to proceed forward to see if I can find some light or an object.
When you get closer to the columns, it is warm, almost hot. And again, the warmth is coming from the top of these columns and sort of flickering down with the scant light there. What's wrong, Jericho?
Jericho gets a little nervous, and he feels that heat, and he notices. I think the fun idea has finally popped into his head, and he pieces things together, and he just says, "Am I in the engine or something?" And that is when he realizes he just needs to skedaddle into the dark, because he does not want to find out if he is actually in the engine or something that will turn hot very fast. So I will run.
Got you. Are you fleeing recklessly?
I am fleeing recklessly. Why are you making me roll with my worst stat?
Oh, sweetheart, you know it's the most fun.
I know. Alrighty, I will flee recklessly, and I will roll with philosophy. Yikes. That's a 6 because it's a minus. I rolled a 7 on the die, and it's a -1, so it's a 6. I fail.
Okay, so you end up in a new place. You are running and you hear your footsteps echoing loudly in this space. On this marbled floor, you can just feel the impact of every step, the sound colliding on the walls, and then you hit a wall. The light catches on it, and you see your face. For a second, you think it is the other Jericho. But your face is much younger in this picture. Jericho, will you tell me about your parents?
Jericho has 2 fathers. Their names are Dhruv and Surya. And they are the picture of a perfect family, right? You have Dhruv, who is the authoritative, charismatic, holds himself with great gravity. A sharp eyes and short cropped hair. he wears a fine uniform, pressed and free of creases. He is the picture of firm perfection. And by his side is Surya, Jericho's other father, who is holding a face of just warm honey. It is sweet and kind and comforting. His eyes, also that same amberish color. His hair is similar to Jericho's. It is a little windswept, a little wavy. There's a freedom that sits upon his shoulders and his head, and he holds himself proudly and with a bright smile. They both have deep brown skin, and I think this is a picture, right? I'm looking at.
Yes. However,
this
picture is, the frame is larger than you, so it's basically life size.
Terrifying. Both of his parents are taller than him then. So and like even now as an adult, there's this kind of like moment where he's still looking up to his parents, not just in actual physical height, but being confronted again after so many years with them here. And they just hold each other by the hip. And they're smiling, and it's been so long since he's seen them.
Yeah. In fact, this was the last photo you took together.
Yeah. It was before everything went wrong in my life. They had such high hopes for me, and I think all those memories begin kind of flooding in to Jericho's mind of his father taking him under his wing, Drew specifically, and training him to be a pilot, training him to be a good army man, to learn to help people, to protect, to have a leg up so that he could be a better cadet, whereas his other father, Surya, was there teaching him about warmth and kindness and holding yourself proudly and never being tied down. But Jericho is, and he kind of like holds a sad face as he kind of like touches against the frame of this picture, this image of his parents, where he just realizes how cosmically intertwined he is with failure and how it's permeated his entire life. And he sighs and he goes, "Sorry, Pops, I didn't think that it would come to this, but I'm trying, okay? I'm gonna make things right."
And when you say that, because of you fleeing recklessly, you see where you hit this picture frame, the glass, it's been chipped. And as you speak and you say, "Sorry, I'm trying my best," its spider webs out. Many cracks cracking loudly, louder, and then shattering down. What did you see the last time you saw your parents?
It was difficult for Jericho because the last time he saw his parents before everything went to hell, it was a fight. It was a tense argument. It wasn't a screaming match, but no one was hearing each other. It was Jericho yelling, screaming, "I'm doing my best, Dad. I'm not a test taker, okay? the way these examinations are, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know why I fail. It just, I just don't get it. And his fathers are on opposite sides, and Dhruv is definitely on the offensive, where Surya is seeming to placate the situation.
And Dhruv opens his mouth, and Santiago's voice comes out. Are you sure you're trying hard enough?
I think so. I mean, what? And Jericho kind of like flits and hesitates and struggles against that, trying to juxtapose this sort of like idea of Santiago's voice on top of the image of his father, and that weird internal realization that he's not ready to accept of like how you find partners that remind you of certain people in your family, and how Santiago is kind of like Dhruv in a lot of ways. And he just says, I'm trying, okay? I can't be perfect, prim, and proper like you. I'm not made like that.
And then Drew's face falls into, something that you've seen more than you'd like. That disappointment. And Santi's voice comes out, and he's just like, I just don't think you're strong enough.
But I am. I'm just... And I think like he like falls, and he has no words to say in this moment, because this is so real for him, and he bites the inside of his mouth and just helplessly grits and just says, I wish for once that all of you would see me as who I am, and not what you think I ought to be. When will I be enough? Because clearly, this best is not what you want from me. And I'm tired, and I'm trying, and I'm tired. I'm trying to make things right. Let me make it right.
The image in front of you, the last time you saw your parents, it freezes. It's just a picture again. But suddenly this area is flooded with light. Like someone has pushed something aside, uncovered the sun, and when you look up, you see a monster, something. It is a large black nose, black fur, and lips, and they just coming down to sniff at you. And as you, again, this area is flooded with light. As you come aware of it, one of the columns is nearby, and you see it for what it is for the first time. It's a candle. That has been melting wax. There are flowers on one corner of this area. This altar is familiar.
Oh my fucking god, I'm a tiny little man on my altar!
You can see that there are pictures that you recognize from Santiago. However, one of these candles get knocked over as this snout comes closer. And you can see this dark furred dog. Curiously sniffing at you.
Do we have a dog?
if you didn't have a dog, this is definitely a dog that Santi has wanted for a very long time.
I think this is definitely a scenario of like there's a dog that hangs around us, but neither of us have made that like final step of like, all right, like you're our dog now. You're our dog in everything but name, basically. Like you come over, you hang out when it's cold. You can come and go as you please. And so this snout is on me, and I think Jericho just, when he finally realizes what this is and who this is, he just goes, "Hey, buddy. Hey, and then he like tries to like reach his hand to like pat just to the side of the snout, and just be like, "Do you see me? Oh, buddy. Oh, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?"
Again, that snout sort of nudges against you, and you see like those like paws like dig in, and you see those claws. And again, like those, that like the panting, and you can see those rows of sharp teeth. But like also as it like puts its head over, you see his collar. And on the end of a collar is a lighter that you recognize.
Hey,
It's
buddy.
about your size.
All right, buddy. That is a strange place to put a little collar, and I think he gives this little doggy a little scritch, and he just says, and he looks at all the candles. They're unlit right now, right? It'd be really bad if they were lit, actually.
Now that like this whatever fabric that has been covering this altar has been whisked away, they were lit before, and now they're no longer lit, and even one has like fallen over because of this dog's sort of like intrusion on the altar.
Alrighty, amazing. So in that case, it's my size, right? So it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I cannot stress this enough to the audience that Jericho is a gay otter at best, right? He's a little man, and he looks around this space, and he's like petting and scritching against this dog, and he just says, "Okay, buddy, I feel like I need this," and he like touches the lighter. Can I, because now that I know that I'm on top of my altar, is there a room, or is it like a loading screen? What does the surrounding outside of the altar look like?
Tall grass, but it's the wrong color. It is a pink, like a faded pink color. And then as the sky above you is a strange green. Like the atmosphere is different here.
And I think Jericho like understands all of this, and he looks back at this dog, and it's big doggy eyes when dogs are very excited and just ready to love, and he just says, "All right, buddy, you and Santi are inseparable. You are very, very cute. I'm gonna need you to do me a favor here, all right? I'm gonna need you to let me onto your back, and I need you to help me find Santi, all right? I need you to help me find, let's be honest here, I need you to help me find your papa, basically, all right? Like, come on."
It sounds like you're begging for help.
I am begging for help. I am begging for help, and I will have to roll with my 0. I am begging for help. All right, you are going to jail, dice. We need new ones. All right, I'm begging for help, and I'm rolling with pathos. Okay, this is not bad. That's an 11 on the die.
Oh, fantastic!
I love this.
Right.
This is the dog buff.
Yes.
Interact with dog buff.
So on a 10 plus, you choose one. They show you a path forward, which I think, or they offered a performer service, I think is what you might be looking for.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Alright.
correct. Because the other two are kind of like, yeah, but I think more correct is like performer service because he wants to try and get to Santiago specifically.
Mm-hmm. And so the dog sort of backs up, and then you sort of notice to the side more fabric gets pulled down, and the front of the altar has been more revealed. And before you see the dog sort of come to help you get on, you see an outbuilding. It's so large, and this grass is high and pink, but past it are large vines, heavy with fruit, vegetables, some that you recognize, more that you don't.
Okay.
And you remember that Santi hopes for a new world included a farm. And then the dog blocks it as it comes in as far as he can with a little pause and puts his head down for you to climb on.
Jericho climbs on, and I think as he like takes each step and he like readjusts his robes, and I think his clothing changes. It's no as he like gets on and he remembers like Santi's dreams. They talked about it as they made their escape plan from their home, as they planned for this new future. And as he sits down, he reminisces on a cottagecore lifestyle of a humdrum, quiet, stable, non-exciting, incredibly off-brand life for him and Santi, and how he never told Santiago this. He kind of didn't want Santiago to think that he was changing himself for him. But there's a part of Jericho that dreamed of that lush life and waking up, making breakfast, watering plants, realizing he's forgotten to water one, and getting an earful from Santi, handful of pets, more animals that Santi wants, as he like continues to sit and allow this dog to lead him towards the vines. He just reminisces on it, and his clothes change from these dark robes with layers and a hood and holes for his thumbs. It's now a button-up shirt with florals and bright colors, matching the kind of like brightness of the pinks and greens that exist in this space.
And as this dog takes you forward, you see the large silhouette, one that you would never forget. It's hunkered over in the dirt, regular size, large, and the dog is like almost speeding up before you hear a whistle. A familiar whistle. Your whistle. And the dog changes tracks.
Oh, don't do this shit
and
to me,
comes
Vic.
to stop at the feet of a familiar man in pressed uniform, sharp and grinning.
Oh, not you again.
Oh, I think the appropriate term is look what the cat dragged in. But it's a puppy, isn't it?
Yes, a good puppy. And I think Jericho like scritches the, because he's on its back, like scritches the back of the ear with his tiny hands. And he looks up at Jericho at this place, and he just says, "What is this? What is this game you're playing? Why?"
this isn't a game. When you last left, I didn't think you would make it here.
Well, I'm pretty good at defying expectations.
Yes. Your memory that played recently. Well, and he reaches down. It looks like he's gonna grab you, but he unclips the lighter. This is mine.
It is. So as Jericho hears that, he goes, No. We've been through this before. I defied your expectations before, and I am going to do it again. And he like stands up. He's this tiny thing, stood up on top of the back of the nape of the neck of this dog, and looks up at Jericho, with a cautious bravado. He is so pissed at this man. His brow is furrowed. He admires him yet hates him. It's projection and it is truth. And he just like grits his teeth and he goes, I am going to find Santi. Now hand it back.
What will you do to get it from me? You are as big as you think you are.
And Jericho pauses. Oh, that's an unfortunate truth. He kind of like looks around and realizes the rules of this place. And I think what I would like to do is I haven't used this move before, and the way so I would like to stir the heart. And I specifically want to manifest Santiago. Like, I think Jericho is like, I don't feel big. I don't feel as big as this man, right? But I know how my parents and how Santiago feel about me and what they hope for me. And he's just going to like hum a low like melody, reminding, maybe it's an old song that used to play in his family's house that they also play whenever Santi himself and his fathers get together, or in the kitchen when food is being made. He just hums that melody and holds that image of his father's hopes and dreams, of Santi's hopes and dreams, to believe in the thing these three people believe he is or could be.
It's beautiful. Please roll poetry.
Come on, die, come on. Okay, that's not terrible. Okay, that is a 9.
Okay. So you hope for Santi. But a robed figure appears instead. And it is large. And you can see the flash of a blue arm, mechanical, and thrust out in front of Jericho. We are not small.
Oh, it's my boy.
Yes.
It's my Jericho doesn't know this, but I do.
Yeah, and I think Jericho version 2 looks confused and backs up. It's just like, little rebel. And before he can continue, that arm snatches out your arm, strong, powerful, and grabs the lighter. And then quickly kneels down, hooded, your arm large and holds out the lighter to you. It's slowly becoming more closer to your size.
I think Jericho watches this in real time as he like holds his hand out to receive this kind of like when someone offers you a thing and you grab it this way, and his hand grows and emerges as each heartbeat as he grows bigger. And I think as he like grazes his own left hand against this stranger's like cerulean metallic arm, are you? That's my. Are you another Jericho?
No. Not. That program is still executing. And this hooded being covers your hand with its right one. And you see those tattoos that you love. The imagery of the ocean and its creatures flowing over, except on this arm they move and swim. You must go before he can recover.
You don't have to tell me twice. And as he like chuckles and that like confidence comes back again, he sees that hand, the hand that he loves so much. And with the lighter in his left hand, he exchanges it back to his right. And if this program so allows, like just touches the very tips of the fingers of this program and looks up to where the eyes of this being would be. I won't forget this. Thank you.
In the eyes, you see one very familiar, and the other one that you love to stare in before the face shrouds again. Run.
He nods, and I'll start running.
And as you start to run, you hear the program recovering as if it had frozen and as if something had blocked it. And it says, "No more games!" And you hear that other voice, "Run!" And then you see the floor open up to you. And it says, "Into the recycling bin!" And the ground falls out from under you.
Oh god, okay. Uh-oh. And Jericho falls.
Yeah. It's the end of book 5.
And that is the end of book 5, which means it is now time for book 6. Santiago in the Desolate Junkyard. Santi, you run and move past after meeting that strange hooded figure. And as you keep running and shift between the rocky, craggy, dry bits of the chasm, the gorge that you were in before, you now arrive in a strange place. The light of the infernal gorge is now swallowed by the darkness of this place. As the panels and grids beneath you shift and shudder as you keep moving, like a program beginning to fully load a new application, you realize you are in a dark, dense area, surrounded by columns and pillars and mountains of junk and garbage. And as you keep moving, there's no scent here. There's a moment in your like olfactory instincts and senses where you believe and think you should smell something rotting, terrible, the smell of decay, but you don't. It smells like ozone here, and as you think that the skies above you darken, and strangely enough, it rains here. What would you do in this dark junkyard?
Santi knows not to trust the rain anymore. Not after what happened. So he tries to get close to one of these pillars and tries to see if there's anything safe to like take out to cover his head. And he's just sort of trying to find a path forward.
You find a path forward. The ground begins to kind of shift more towards your understanding of what a junkyard looks like. And as you flit about looking for something to cover your head, you do find something. You find a very handy sheet of metal that you're able to kind of pick up and hold aloft above your head. But as you move that sheet of metal, there is something beneath it that frightens you. You see yourself. Oh, really a mask of yourself. A perfectly crafted, printed out version of your face.
God, motherfucker!
It is metallic and smooth. It is uncanny and terrible. And as you have this huge reaction to this terrible situation, Santiago, do you take a look around?
Oh, for sure.
You realize that scattered among a bunch of other metallic digital debris are pieces of Santi, pieces of you, pieces of Santiago. All pieces, like dolls, like robots that have been discarded, broken, shattered. And as you take a look at this, how are you feeling?
At first, I'm angry, but then it settles into a deep ache of sadness in his chest. And even though it scared him, even though it's uncanny, he kneels down with this metal shielding himself and the mask now. He reaches out and he's just like, who threw you away?
Oh, I did. And a
Gah!
voice, and a familiar, annoying voice that you know so well, sat perched above on a mountain of debris above you, is Santiago version 2. And he looks at you, and his clothes have changed. Amongst these surroundings of garbage, debris, discarded, broken things, sits a picture of perfection. Tell me, Santiago, what are pieces of clothing that Santiago dreamed he would be able to wear, but never allowed himself the permission?
A dress. It
Amazing.
is a deep cut in the front with like you can see like a hairy chest and this and top surgery scars, and it's got like a slit all the way up to the thigh, and it's this like call attention, look at me red, you know?
And that's exactly what he's wearing.
Oh, fuck you.
What? Like what you see? It took a little while to find the perfect fit for all of this. But that's the benefit of being what I am. I can achieve perfection. I can find the little bits of myself that don't work and be better. Oh, I wonder. Must be really sad to just be stagnant like you do, huh? can't
You-
relate.
You shouldn't throw away pieces of yourself. That's not perfection.
Oh, but it is though. Is it better? And as he says this, he stands up to his full height and begin walking down this mountain of garbage over to you. And now you are a hair's breadth apart from each other as he circles around you like a vulture and says, and what would you suggest to be the better alternative, Santiago? Version 0.1. Is it better to hold on to the broken, the terrible, the ugly, horrific things? Lash out at the people around you, stagnate, never get better? Hold your damage like it's the last treasure your home has? Is that the alternative?
It might have been before. But what do you know about growth? What do you know about healing? When a computer program breaks, that's it. You need someone else to fix you. All of this? You said it yourself. It's mine! You're just a fucking copy.
You say that, and something. It's so odd to see this, because up to now, this program has been very much a program, an annoying one, but very much still computer. But there's something in the corner of his eye that twitches, and this Santiago version 2 says, "You're right, in that sense, I guess. But that's how computers work. That's how we achieve perfection. We are able to die, reborn, die and reborn, die and reborn. For as long as we are able to create new iterations, better iterations than the ones that came before." And Santiago picks up a shattered mask of your face and looks up at it. I'm able to be mutable, Santi. And its face darkens and looks up at you. Besides, I don't think Jericho wants another broken thing. And as this entity points towards you, I kind of want you to roll something, because I kind of want you to have a roll to see if you can perceive something. Could you roll for me?
Pierce the veil?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Pierce the Veil for me.
So good at philosophy.
We're such a great couple. Oh,
5 plus 6 is 11.
you get to pick 2.
Yes. So, what secret is kept by Santiago version 2?
The secret kept by Santiago version 2 is, and I'll give you a juicy one that you're not suspecting. Santiago version 2 is putting on a very, very good front of being in control. But the fact that you were able to unsettle him suggests to you that, strangely enough, this computer is not fully in control. And there's a reason. I mean, if it is so convinced of your failure, why intervene at all? It's a computer. That's a waste of resources. There are things at play that you can take advantage of. It is an unsettled. It is not this strength, font of strength that it's trying to put forward towards you right now.
And I know this isn't on the thing.
Oh, I will disregard any and all rules if your thing is fun and juicy. Tell me.
What does in knowing that it doesn't have full control,
Yes.
what scares it the most about me? What about me is it the most scared of? Santiago version 2. Most scared of.
I think in this moment where you are piercing the veil and you're analyzing the space and you're looking at this Santiago version 2 and you realize that you've unsettled it, there's something that flits in the corner of your eye as in bullet time you're seeing several figures stand up in unison, and they're all these put together broken pieces of Santiago. And there's a moment in there where you could have sworn you saw that hooded figure again. That beautiful, familiar, comforting figure of that reminds you of the best parts of you and Jericho. And I think in that moment, you see in clarity. That is what it's afraid of. Computers also can learn, but so can humans. And what if you became the thing that is able to stop them?
I think Santiago moves forward and he reaches out and just gently places a hand on Santiago version 2's face.
Okay.
And if he allows, he rolls his thumb under his eye where he sees the scar that runs along with it and says, "So you know that the person that hates me the most is myself. And yet, you were foolish enough to surround yourself with pieces of me who never wanted to be thrown away. Now I would like to stand up. I want to demand the respect of the broken Santiagos to help me move forward and sort of keep this Santiago contained for a moment.
Oh, incredible. Please do so. Please roll to stand up.
My +1. Oh, it's a 5! It's a 5!
Delicious. As you roll your thumb on this Santiago's face along that scar, you feel the warmth of skin shifts again. Now you feel the cold reception of metal. And the Santiago version 2 looks at you and then grabs your wrist and says, well, those are pretty words. But I am better than you. And I will erase any and all imperfections to get what I want. And that area that you were pressing against, the scar vanishes. It erases the scars off of your face. And it's now a porcelain perfect version of you. And with that, it releases your wrist, smirks, and says, "Oh, Santiagos, come prove yourselves. It's time to see which one of you is the best iteration to move forward." And Star glitches and vanishes, and all of these broken pieces of you, as I mentioned before, stand up in unison. and begin to ambush you. What do you do?
It sounds like I need to fucking get out of here. Like fade. I think I'm gonna try and look. I'm gonna Donald Trump. I'm gonna try and look like one of the broken Santiagos to try and like get out of here.
Okay, you're gonna try and get out of here. That sounds like
On the shroud, baby.
Oh, Don the Shroud. Yes, please use Don the Shroud.
Wait, what was read the no,
I was looking. No, that is completely irrelevant. Use Don the Shroud.
Gotcha. That is a 9 because philosophy is my +0.
A 9.
A 9.
All right. As you traverse and begin to don the shroud and move through this space, and all these Santiagos, there's one that's kind of hopping on legs that aren't like functional. It's like just like standing on like stilts essentially, and then leaps at you. There's one with like charred broken fingers that comes and leaps after you, and you for the most part are able to do so. But I'm gonna give you a choice now, because between a 7 and 9, you either choose to drop a keepsake you're carrying or take a -1 ongoing. Which do you choose?
I'm gonna drop a keepsake. It feels like the most right thing in this moment.
Never let it be known that I'm not a benevolent GM, audience. I gave the option. You drop a keepsake. Which keepsake do you drop?
I think he drops the cupcake.
Drop the cupcake.
I think what it is he's clinging so hard to the jacket. I think it just falls. Like it will it was like an amorphous blob of pixels, and then it just falls while he's like holding onto the jacket tight, trying to like not lose it in the rush.
And you do so. You rush through, you drop that, it smashes onto the mud and is now caked in mud and water and debris. And as these other Santiagos keep chasing you, one emerges in front of you. And I want you to tell me, Santiago, what is a piece of jewelry that you have to signify your commitment to Jericho?
It is a I think Jericho found some old dinged up dog tags that Santi carried, and Jericho went and had them fixed and had like an extra little like dog tag made that had Jericho's name on it with just the emergency contact information and everything, because Jericho knows that Santi is practical and and is something, especially if they are going out to rallies and like facing off against people. It's something that Santi always was like, you have to have your emergency contact information on you. I am your in case of emergencies. It's in your phone. It's in your wallet. Like very much always, if they were going out to do something that might be considered dangerous, I think Santi fretted, and it was always the most that he talked. Just very much, all right, are you ready? Are you good? Like, are you wearing like the arm pads that I told you were going to be like potentially climbing over barricades?
Yep. Exactly. And you see those on the neck of another broken Santiago that stands in your way between you, and what you see is that dim, almost like extremely pale orange light of a sun in the furthest distance. It gangles and fumbles its way over to you, ready to face off against you. How do you proceed?
Santi drops the shroud and looks. He's just like, Darling, I have to go to him. Please, let me have those and leave.
This Santi, because it's basically wearing like a mask of your face on top of an automaton body. You notice that this particular iteration of this Santi doesn't have a mouth, but it does eye you curiously and looks at you up and down. This sounds like a show tenderness, because this is a troubled soul.
What I was going for. So that's my
Go ahead
plus
and
2.
Go and roll it. Plus 2.
That's a 12.
That's a 12. That is a success on a hit. Please ask 2 questions from the list below.
How can I ease their distress? If I can.
With every broken thing, with every growing thing, there's always a fear, an ache, and a pain. For example, when you grow up and you look back on the memories behind you, and you think, oh God, don't want to go back there. I wonder how those shadows feel of ourselves, those past versions of ourselves that exist back then. I wonder how they feel when they hear us think that of them. And I think it pieces together for you where you know you. And the truest sense of love that most people want is this idea that you are loved. Not just because of, not just in spite of, but alongside your brokenness, alongside your messiness, the garbage aspects of yourself. And I think that's how you know you can ease its distress, is to show him, past Santiago, that love.
And I don't think I need a second question right now.
Okay.
Santiago, with tears in his eyes, looks and is just like, I never should have silenced you. We shouldn't be quiet about the way that we love things. And I love you. You helped us survive, and I love you. And Santiago steps forward, and no matter how sharp, no matter how weird and gangly, pulls this into his arms.
And Santiago, the broken, stands stock still for a moment, arms raised in pause, perhaps confusion, but wraps its arms around you and holds you tight. And you know it can't speak, but as it pulls away, it just beats against its chest and nods. Points at you. Points behind him. Takes that chain of dog tags. Hands it to you.
I grip it close into my chest. And then I reach out and I pat right where it was patting. It was just, look at us. We've done so good. Look at us.
It nods. And I think in this moment, if you take a moment to see around you, all of the other Santiagos also stand still. They are no longer chasing you. They just stand together, looking onward at you.
see you soon. And he runs.
And you run towards that setting sun that promises a new beginning, a new hope, and maybe the warmth of your loved one. And that is where we will now take a break. Thank you all so much for being here. When we come back, it will be more pain. But please take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves. Get a snack. Get up, stretch, pet your pets. Tell them Mr. ValiantDorian loves them very, very much. And we'll see you in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Take care, everybody.
Woo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break, and welcome to our finale of our SpiritBear actual play, They Sleep Among Stars. Now, before we get back into everything and let Victor ruin my life, I do want to take a moment to remind folks that the content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, death of loved ones, complex and complicated relationships, grief, descriptions of calamity, descriptions of the vastness of space, fire, manipulation, monsters and monstrosity, and doppelgangers. Anytime you need to double check on all of our content warnings, please use !CW in chat to read up on our content warnings anytime. Please be safe. Your safety is paramount to us. And also, reminder that if you're enjoying our show, consider leaving us a tip. It's the Ko-Fi goes just above us. The funds raised will be distributed evenly between our tech producer and our cast. Use !donate to support us in chat. And with that, without further ado, Vic, I'm ready once more for you to ruin my life.
Understood. You are falling.
I forgot.
Yes. You're falling. When I chose this music, just a little bit behind the scenes, I did say I need to find something that's like being cast into hell. And you feel it, the heat, the what you imagine would be the ultimate deletion of you. And then an arm shoots out and grabs you, and you are tumbling down a different path. It's cooler, and you fall and slide and finally end up in a place surrounded by darkness and stars, with nothing else but a purple grid around you. Jericho, there is nothing here. You are staring into the blankness of space, and you are nothing beyond this.
No,
But you're alive.
Jericho literally pats himself, make sure everything's fine. I think when he landed, he made sure not to land on his arm, but it still aches from the last time he punched a man. That cerulean metallic arm that he just clicks up and down and adjusts, and he stands up and looks at the emptiness of this space, and it is so isolating and it's so lonely. And he's going to yell out for Santiago. Santi! John! Can you hear me?
You see a progress bar jump up in the sky, and it ticks, ticks, tick, ticks, and above you, you see images fly up, and it's Santiago in so many different things, just sort of like whirring about you. And then as the progress bar is growing and growing, and then it stops, it clicks, it dings, and then in front of you, from the grid above you, comes Santi. But it's
Santi?
weird. It's not like one of these models that you've seen, like sort of get a face. This was built too smooth. And when you say Santi, it moves jerkily towards you. And then settles into a perfect smile. Jericho! And it comes out 4 different ways. Ways you've heard Santi before. The happiest, the saddest, the angriest. And just a neutral, Jericho, 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 Jericho!
There's a moment, I think, where Jericho was about to run into the Santiago's arms. But seeing that momentum stops.
Jericho, Jericho! What's wrong?
You're not him. That's and this is smooth face, right? This person.
Yeah.
That you're not him. Where's his scars? That perfectly frames his face. Where are they? And that's not how he talks. What are you?
It stops. And it looks at you. And it looks frightened for a moment. As the progress bar appears again, and a booming voice from all around you says, "Not accepted. Reattempting." And this image of Santiago slowly falls apart into pixels, and it looks terrified as it just breaks apart into nothing.
The fuck?
What you doing? These images are popping up around you now, and the progress bar is going again.
First off, Jericho does stand still. I stand still and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing for like 2 seconds. Because that is horrid, and I think Jericho reaches out and he goes, "No!" Because even though he knows that's not Jericho, that's not Santiago, he knows that's his beloved's face too, though, right? It reminds him of Santiago. So there's still that ache as he kind of like grabs onto fading pixels and it vanishes out of his hands. And I think piecing everything together, what I would like to do is, oh god, I have so many terrible ideas. I don't know which one I want to do. I think what I would like to do is, I want to fuck with the progress bar.
Okay.
I don't want, because I heard that program tell me reattempting, which means I'm gonna be here fucking forever, probably. And they're not going to bring me my Santi. Like, Jericho is realizing how fucked up this world is, and he just goes, "Oh no, you don't." And he's going to climb. Oh, it's above me, right? I guess I can't. Can I jump onto it?
There is nothing to climb onto.
Okay.
The progress bar is like probably like you don't even know how far it is in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But it is
okay.
It is above you.
Okay. Vic,
you know that there's something listening to your. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hear me out. I would like to reveal that Jericho's arm can shift. Because it's a cyborg arm.
Yes.
And I would like it to change and morph to I don't want to say a gun. So let's say like a small crossbow of sorts that's loaded. And he holds it up at that progress bar and yells out to the ether, "I have enough of your games. Do it now or I'm gonna damage your mainframe further. Don't test me. I'm
gonna say this is a lash out in contempt.
Yep, I was gonna say this is a lash out in contempt. I'm angry. Roll with passion.
Yes.
+1. Okay, that's a 9. 2 4s on the die.
Okay. The progress bar stops. And then several progress bars appear. I need you to choose one of those 3. And then I'll tell you what happens.
Santi lost a keepsake. I'll lose a keepsake.
Okay.
I will lose the manifest.
The ring.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait,
Remember, the manifest
the
became
ring,
the ring.
the ring. Yep. I lose the ring.
And so, what happens then is those progress bars go incredibly fast. And then you see a whole bunch of people, your friends, again, just a little bit off. And they look at you and they're like, don't hurt us. Don't hurt us. Don't hurt us. Over and over again.
I don't want to. All I want is Santi. And then we are both of us will make our way out of here. But if there's going to be more, and he still kind of like moving that crossbow around, then don't make me hurt you. No more games, no more iterations. Enough. I'm here for one person.
Jericho, what does it feel like when Santiago hugs you?
It feels like being enveloped in blankets. It feels like the warmth of a fire. It feels like freedom. There's no permissions. There's no world out there to hold you down. It is just Santi and I.
You feel arms come around you. One around your waist, the other over your shoulder, resting on your chest. Don't hurt us. And it's Santiago's voice.
Give him back to me. Just give him back. Give my John back to me. Please.
And in that voice, it says, "You're so ungrateful," and tugs the chain off of you. And it steps back and back and back behind you.
And it's Santiago. I turn around to look.
Yes. Still a little too smooth. More of the scars that he has. But it's still a little wrong.
I think he turns around and looks at it and goes, "Grateful? What do I have to be grateful for from you? You have taken the love of my life."
I'm right here.
No, you are not, and you know it. You are wrong. You're not him. You can never be him.
Stop it! And then the computer voice. Not accepted. Reattempting. And it runs at you and it breaks apart right as it reaches you, taking the ring and chain with it.
Not again, not again, not again. This place is empty. There's more Santiagos. That
Well,
probably
no.
don't come.
There's Roberto, Emery, a bunch of your friends, Santi's sisters, and when you turn around, even your father's, just sort of staring blankly at you.
Please. Please. I don't... If you are my friends, if you believe yourself to be my friends, then let me go. Let me go to him. I've wronged you. I've wronged all of you. But please, let me go.
Are you stirring the heart or begging for help?
Ooh.
Which one? Because it sounds like it could be both.
I'm gonna say stir the heart.
Okay.
I think he's trying to, Jericho is looking, and in the faces of everyone he is speaking to, he is seeing the reflections of all of his failures. He left Roberto behind. He wasn't kind enough to Santi and angered Emery. I'm sure the sisters have feelings about him too. He's like this rebel, without a cause that showed up in Santi's life and stirred shit up. And then there's his fathers, who not only he left them and that they argued and he couldn't be the son they both wanted him to be. He just sees the faces of all of his failures and he's begging, please, please, please. It's going to be different now, and I actually mean that. No more games, no more recklessness, no more rebelling. I just want a life with him. I want to give him the life that he deserves. And it's here, it's within our grasp, finally. Don't take this away from him. Don't take this away from us. Please. Please.
Roll.
Fuck. Okay. That is, what is it with? With poetry. Ooh, okay, 8. Not terrible. 6 on the die, plus 2, 8.
These faces that look at you, confused, and they stare, and something stirs within them. No longer blank-faced, there is emotion. And they look relieved. And Dhruv, your father, stern, angry the last time you spoke with him, rushes forward. My son.
Dad?
Hello.
I know I let you down.
Children make mistakes. And he sort of reaches out and tousles your hair. You are always reckless.
I know. Sorry.
And then Emery speaks up, walking and arms crossed, looking at you. It's just computer program, person. This is complicated.
Yeah.
And did you even check the specs of the cryo chamber?
No. No, I didn't. I thought it would be fine, but it wasn't.
Issa speaks up now. She's like, well, yeah, the biosignature for the person who was supposed to be in Santi's tube? Not really close.
Yeah.
Maria speaks up. But you're still here. You're still here.
I am. 'Cause I'm going to make things right. I can't be in this new world without Santi. I did it for him. We'll do it together.
And your other father holds out a hand. And did Jericho like to attach things to their house keys?
Oh, he's got the noisiest, jangliest house keys. It is like the most annoying set of house keys. I think his favorite little one is one that Santi got for him of a character he liked from a video game that's really loud and janky. Santiago actually got it in the wrong color, and it's actually different from the actual character, but he keeps it anyway because
Is it one of those knockoffs?
Yeah, it's like a knockoff for sure, and it's definitely incorrect. It's like a color swapped version of the character, but Jericho never brought it up. He just took it because it meant that Santi listened to him.
And in your father's hand is that keychain. And he looks, he's just like, we can't help you leave. The STAR program, the graphical core, just creates you can't see memory, but you are close to the motherboard.
Okay.
You must take this, and you must leave.
Jericho reaches out his hand, takes the keychain, but grips his father's hand as he slowly pulls away. I hear you, Dad. I'll find a way out of here. I'll break out of here if I have to. I'm not leaving without Santi.
We love you.
Love you too, Dad.
And it repeats again, but everyone says it. Even Emery, begrudgingly. We love you.
Love you too. And with Emery specifically, I think with everyone he does say like I love you. And with Emery, he's like, I love you too, man. And it's just kind of like it's like, of course I do, but we've had our tensions. And he shrugs and like boops, elbow bumps Emery a little bit as he tries to wipe tears from his eyes with the hand that's holding the keys.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is going to be difficult. This is going to be sad. And they all look at you and they are saying, you must not accept us. It will break down the room.
I won't. I'll remember. Thank you, all of you. And I'm sorry. And I'll move.
And as you move, the computer speaks and says, "Images rejected." And you know that behind you, those images are being deleted. But in front of you, a door opens up. In the moments that these are being destroyed, you can move forward.
And I do. And every step hurts. But Santi's waiting for me.
Yes, he is. And as you move into the light, your book finishes.
And another book opens. Santiago, it is your turn now.
Yes.
Santiago, book 8. Santiago in the Memory Forge. Santi, you run, you leave the water-swept streets of the junkyard, and you find yourself in a library? It's a very odd building you found yourself in. It's metallic and gorgeous. There's panels of glass that sits above you, allowing bright sunlight to bathe the room in this warm glow. The walls are wooden. There's a cafe bistro of sorts that's kind of sat there in the center area. There's no one here. There's rows of books. There's a beautiful, gorgeous carpet, some plush seating. And as you're taking this space in and you smell this area and you listen out, you hear one particular discordant sound that doesn't necessarily line up with this space. The sound of clanging metal and sound of cinder, of fire crackling, a hearth of some sort. And as you're taking this whole space in, someone shows up, sat on one of the plush sofas, holding a small mug. It's a blank mug, nothing special about it. And you see a masked figure. The person who had helped you before. One side of the mask, marigolds, the other, blue starlight. A metallic arm on its left hand, and your tattoos on its right. And it sits there and comically raises this mug up to where its lips would be, and then lowers it. You made it.
Yeah. So did you.
This is my home, and also not my home. It's different, but I also know it. And I'd hoped that you'd arrive. I was concerned about the junkyard. Many Santiagos did not make it.
Yeah.
It lifts the mug up to its non-existent lips, like a parent mimicking drinking a drink for a child that's playing tea party. And then it lowers its mug down and says, and he gets up and walks over towards you and says, "This is deep in the heart of this place. It is your way out. But many things have changed. The programs have changed, not just Star."
Like Shepherd?
Yes, like Shepherd. They feel things now. They want things now.
It's quite a burden to put on someone.
But also a blessing. And it looks at you through the side of its face. That's Jericho.
And he swallows hard and looks at that face. And deep in his soul, he admits to himself that he wants to see Jericho so bad. And he reaches out. He's just like, "You look very good."
Thank you. He's coming. I promise. I can feel his journey. And he is coming. And he kind of like looks at all of the keepsakes you're holding. The jacket, the birthday cake is no longer there. The dog tags. Did I give you anything else? No, this is the final one. And he kind of looks at you and says, "And I have the last piece." And he holds up 2 broken pieces of what looks like to be a circular round thing. It looks like a metallic bread roll, essentially, but flattened. It's a little disc. And it is broken, and you see the wires in the inside kind of like fray and are damaged. You see like many of the screws are taken out, and you recognize what this is. This is a very, very specific holosphere. For those in the audience as well as for yourself, a holosphere is essentially a device that holds a holographic photo of people. It helps capture memories, but this one is broken. And this entity looks at you and says, "You need this, but Star shattered it to steal the memory, the information, the data that sits in here. We must fix it."
Oh, okay.
I have a friend, colleague, acquaintance. I don't really know how computer program relationships work. I know a guy. And he does say that in a typical way that Jericho would say it.
And then I think Santi laughs. Then like he tries to hold it back, but he laughs and he's just like, "I see. Well, let's go see this guy."
I think you'd like him. He just needs a little help. Come, I'll show you. It's better to show, not tell. That's how humans say it.
Yeah, it is. But you can also say it. Just like you get to define what relationships look like.
Then I will say it. That is my sentence. Come, we must go to the forge. And this entity gestures to a metallic spiral staircase. Those ones where there's it's basically a metallic frame. There's no like backing to the staircase. You're just walking on metal and it creaks all the way down until you reach. And each step you take, you feel it now, that heat of the air begin to rise and meet you. And as you arrive in this area, in this space, the area that looks like a library, sort of bistro cafe, turns into this metallic forge. There are stone walls, metal framings, and you see a large forge at the center back of the wall with a roaring, powerful flame, and there's a grid that covers it right now. And you also see a figure sat slumped against the wall, but on a very, very humble stool. This is not a typical person. Human, at least. This is a horned, lion-like person who is heavy set and is wearing a weathered leather apron and thick hide gloves. And even though you're looking at this individual from the side and can only see the profile of his face, you see that his eyes are lit brightly, like the flames of the forge inside that grid. He has a thick, proud mane that's braided down past his shoulders. And he's playing around in his hands a hammer that he's kind of just twirling around in his hands. And without even needing a roll, Santiago, this person looks sad. There's a cloud that hangs over him. And your companion, the entity, kind of bounds up to him and says, Ifrit, I've brought Santiago. Do you feel like making things now? And Ifrit, this pauses, this is heavy silence before he says, No, I don't want to make things. I don't want to do anything. I feel error, empty, resources not found.
Santiago approaches slowly, taking in the visage of this person, and then he smiles. I know what that feels like.
Ifrit raises his head up and looks over to you. You do?
Not with metal, but with baking. Same heat. Well, no, not at all, but heat.
You see that the entity looks at the fire of the forge, the flames licking outside of that like metal grid, and just looks back at the both of you. What do you do when you don't? I feel lonely. Empty. I don't want to make things, but that is my design. I craft things.
It's difficult, isn't it? To be made for something and not want to do it at all.
Yes. It feels like my program will not execute, so why is my program here? Star doesn't want me to create. And I'm alone here, and I don't want to create.
I think Santiago moves towards Ifrit and just sort of sits down on the floor next to him.
Him.
Next to him, and just sort of like looks at the front, looks at like the forge, and looks back at the hammer in his hands. You don't want to create. I need to create something. Will you let me use your forge?
He looks over to the forge. This sounds like a roll. Alrighty. So, are you showing tenderness to a troubled soul?
That is Santiago's current game plan. He has a game plan. He has an idea.
He has an idea. All right.
Yes.
What's your idea?
So I think in the past, when Santi has had these depressive moods where he can't seem to get out of it, I think that Jericho has once requested, or maybe a couple times requested, that Santi show him how to bake something. Because then it's not Santi struggling to make something, it is Santi teaching.
Oh, clever. Clever. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll. Show tenderness. Clever.
That is cocked. Oh, please be okay. It's an 8.
An 8. All right, not terrible. So on a 7 to 9, they either grow angry at your intrusion or take advantage of their tenderness, their choice. I have a good idea of this. I think, yes, as you approach and offer up that idea, Ifrit kind of goes, I suppose someone ought to use the forge. And he gets up and begins preparing the forge for you. And as you are kind of like gearing up and getting ready and things like that, I think Ifrit grows a little frustrated and realizes you don't know what you're doing. And so tell me, how does Santiago bumble around this forge? Because you're a baker, you're not a forgesmith.
Listen, these gloves are oversized.
Yep.
Santi's got like 2 fingers in each of the digits and his thumb. So there's like 2 fingers flopping around beneath it. And he's just trying to grab things. And they keep slipping out of his hand. And he's just sort of like, maybe this was dumb. Like under his breath, he's like, maybe this was a stupid idea. And he's just trying to like put like the 2 halves of the thing onto a portion to like fix it, and just keeps sort of like fumbling and bumbling, and it's just like, we're trying our best.
Yeah, and I think Ifrit does grow frustrated at you. And as you are fumbling around, he goes, enough! Come, I'll do it, I'll help. And he brings out the hammer, and he brings out the tongs, and he looks at the item that you have, and he goes, what needs fixing?
It's in half, so it needs to go back together.
All right, this will be a 2-person job. And as he says that, you kind of like see the large fangs that form almost like tusks as he like grumbles and speaks. And he walks over to you with your oversized gloves. And what I'm going to do, so instead of inflicting harm, the thing that I'm going to ask you to do is take a -1 to your next roll instead of taking harm. Because what he's going to try and do and ask you to do is he's going to take some tape or some sort of adhesive of some time to get it nice and tight. Because he looks at you with these fiery eyes and he just says, you must hold these 2 pieces together. You must not break. You must not buckle, lest it be lost forever. Do you hear me?
Why is this NPC so hot, Val?
It's the Val special. It's the Val special. I make my beast folk hot. What can I do?
Santi is like, in his head, he's like, should I be scared or turned on? This is not appropriate. This is
This is
and
a
he's just
computer
like,
program.
yes. And he's just like, I understand.
Right. Now, and he opens that grid of the forge. And there is a dread that bubbles up within you. Because, Santi, you're a pretty smart cookie. He says you need to hold it while it forges. And he's opening that grid, which means, and Ifrit breaks that thought process in your head and says, you must hold it in the fire and not let go. It's time for you to prove your mettle. How precious is this item to you?
More precious than gold.
And Ifrit pauses. I don't know what gold is. And walks over to the forge and sets it up for you. And the entity kind of bounce up next to you and says, you got this.
Yeah.
Courage now. Courage. And now, Santi, you get to tell me, your benevolent GM, your benevolent fates, how you are going to use your moves to reforge this broken memento.
My darling fates. This is a proof your love.
All right?
Which is a -1 already.
Yep.
So it's a -2 on this roll.
A -2 on this roll. The good thing is, this is going to be a thing that happens multiple times. So you are, because this is a measure of how whole you can make this keepsake. You're going to need 2 out of 3 successes. So, go ahead, roll prove your love, and tell me how Santiago is manifesting this.
Okay, let's see let's see what it goes to. That is an 8 -2, so that is a 6.
That is a 6. That's a failure, I believe.
That is a failure. That is our. I still have 2 more chances, but that is a failure.
Please mark a harm.
Oh no! Okay, I have 3 harm.
You sure do. That's fine. You have keepsakes, and maybe another one.
So I think what happens first is Santi's like very sure, very positive, and then the first strike comes down and he flinches.
Hold it still, Santiago.
Yes, sir, yes.
It's not just my memories on the line, it is yours and he notices the flame lick against your arm and your own skin. Alright, what is the next step you're going to take? Well, you don't have a -1 anymore, so you just have the 1 -1, or if you're going to do a different move.
Yeah, I think when it burns him, he finally thinks like, oh fuck, I can change things here. It's a fucking computer program. He tries he tries to fix the gloves.
All right.
So I think I'm weaving the strands.
You're weaving the strands. Go ahead and roll.
That is an 8.
An 8. Fantastic. So you do so, and as you weave and fix this, what echoes in this space hauntingly around you as you get ready to go in for round 2? You hear, what's this? The forges are lit once more. Ifrit, you shouldn't have. I thought I shut down your program and ended your task. Interesting. And it's the voice of Star. And Ifrit, like, snarls a little bit, gets ready for yet another hammer, and you have succeeded this round and are able to mend it a little bit more. This is your last roll.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. What move will you make?
Santiago
Okay.
yells back at the voice
Okay.
that you, in all finality, are just a program. I am the user, and we are finishing this project. He stands up.
He stands up. I love that. Go ahead and roll with poetry.
Another 8! What
Nice!
the fuck?
Amazing. You stand up. On a 7 to 9, they can see, but only if you somehow prove you're worthy of the Queen's gifts. And you have proven it by reminding Star of what they actually are. A computer program. And you are indeed the user. And as you stand up, you hear that final clang of that hammer onto the hollow sphere, and it is mended. You see this thin metallic ribbon that you can still see the seam between the two halves as this hollow sphere is finally remade. And as you pull it out of the forge, Ifrit leans down and blows against it, and the images glitch, 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 and flicker, and emerging out is you and Jericho. Tell me, Santiago, what video holographic image is here on the sphere?
It is actually from a news program. So it is something they tore out of a news video to put into this hollow sphere. And it is technically the day they met. So it starts with Jericho on a street lamp waving a sign and yelling, losing his grip, and literally falling into Santi's arms. And so it's wave, 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 fall, grab, exasperated look, and then the video loops.
And you see it. It doesn't play any sound, but you see that loop and that capturing of that moment between the both of you. And time feels like it stopped for a moment as you look upon this and you see that exchange, that look in both you and Jericho's eyes. Love at first sight. Many people would laugh at that. But that's only one step of a very, very long journey. Of a very, very long, committed, dedicated relationship. And Ifrit brings his snout closer, and so does Vida. They both kind of comically lean down to look at that. And Ifrit blinks for a moment. That's nice to have someone near. And Ifrit looks at you. I liked having a co-worker here.
Can I? This is probably a bigger ask for Weave the Strands than usual.
Okay. What do you want to do over here?
Actually, I want to pierce the veil.
Okay.
So I want to see the program codes.
All right, go ahead and pierce the veil. Go ahead and roll.
Now you roll high? Fuck off. It's an 11.
The dice know the drama. They know. The dice know.
Yeah.
What did you roll again?
An 11.
An 11. Ooh. So with an 11, you can ask 2 of the following questions, unless you have better questions to ask.
In the program code, what is lost or forgotten?
I'm trying to think what kind of program Star would not have need for anymore. I think there is as you're looking through the code, a grid opens up to you, and as you roll so successfully, you see that the entity holds it steady for you, augmenting this reality so that you're able to stare into the code and figure out next steps forward. And I think as you are looking at all of these different aspects of coding, you notice a bit of code onto a small solitary program. And it's just this really small, like almost Canid-like looking program. And it seems to be some sort of like file directory. A janitor of sorts that helps organize your memories and things like that. And I think with that role, you realize that Star had abandoned it because it's trying to grow beyond its constraints, and having this program there would have stopped its growth. And it just sits there in this all-encompassing darkness, huddled.
And I want to bring it out to give Ifrit a co-worker.
This this is really good. I'm gonna give you a +1 to this. Go take a forward on this and roll show tenderness. Because this is a very
+3,
kind
baby.
thing. It's a very kind thing you're doing.
I really needed that. It's a 7.
It's a 7. Ooh.
Yeah.
You show tenderness. And as you're looking at this code, you see that the entity next to you goes, I can hold you here if you reach out.
Okay.
As if already knowing what you were trying to do.
And Santi reaches his arms in and to grab the dog like he's grabbed a dog many times before and lift it out of the
Like this, yep.
Yeah.
You pull it out, and it's this, as you pull it closer to this realm of Ifrit, this dog kind of emerges through this portal. The grid closes, and you see a hold actual puppy. There he is, baby.
I pull the puppy out.
You pull the puppy out. Puppy for real. And you notice this kind of like pity looking dog. It's a hardy, like haunch little dog. And it looks at all of you, and it has its tongue lolling out, smiling. And Ifrit looks at this dog, looks up at you, looks back down to the dog. What is... Who is this?
His name is FD. He's a file directory. And he can help you maybe get a little organized, around here if you want. Maybe he can help you out with like finding projects that you want to do. And Santi sets the file directory down and be like, look, this is Ifrit. Look at that.
This dog bounced up to Ifrit, licks his foot, and just kind of like sits on his foot, And Ifrit looks at this dog, reaches out his like clawed hand, and really clumsily, as if unsure on how to do this, but learning quickly, like petting the top of this dog's head, of FD's head. And Ifrit smiles. This grumpy forge master looks back at you and says, "Thank you. I have a co-worker now. It's not lonely. I feel like working again."
I'm glad. But I've got to go now.
I hope you find him.
Me too.
Vida, so as Ifrit looks at you, the entity behind you looks at you and says, "Well, we must go. Jericho's waiting."
Well, I'm coming.
Good. And as you walk up the metallic staircase, exiting this area, you emerge onto open streets. And in the distance, you see once again that hill covered in wildflowers. And there's a figure that stands there. And he looks awfully familiar. And this is where we now enter the gauntlet of hope and regret. And we get to GM each other, which is very, very fun.
Yes.
As the entity brings you up towards this meadow, I think Jericho runs to you. There's no, he sees you walking in the distance and he just runs towards you. And should Santi reciprocate, grab him into the biggest hug.
Oh. Santi has always been a little like, what's it called? Not like withholding, but very understated with his affection in what he considered to be public. But right here, when Jericho hugs him, he lifts Jericho and spins him around.
I thought I lost you. And then he like pulls away briefly, and like he's holding your face and he's staring at you really intensely. Huh? Sorry, I just had to make sure you have all of your scars. Okay, we can hug back again.
Yeah, fuck that other guy.
Fuck you have no idea how many asshole programs I had to talk and deal with and punch. I punched a program. Straight up. I'm so happy to see you. And then he like turns around and the entity is still standing there, like just like standing right there by the both of you. No, please take your time.
Santi like laughs and he's like that. What's your name?
Oh, my name. Yes. I am, and they look at the both of you. I'm Vida.
That makes a lot of sense.
Jericho looks over towards Vida and it's just like, yeah, that really does. You've been a real big help around here. Vida shrugs. It's so good to feel whole again. And watching the both of you, I feel like I've executed my program, but we're not there yet. There's still one more challenge you must face together.
I think right at that point, two figures manifest next to Vida. One tall and sharp, one finely dressed and soft. And Santi says, "What the fuck?" And he points at the wrong Jericho.
Yep, Jericho has that little cybernetic arm open up to basically a blade, and holds it up to the other Santi, and it's just like, not you again. If you say processing one more time, I will break this mainframe. Watch me.
And kill Santi? Jericho
it's
version 2 says that.
Well, that Santi is not my Santi, and like Jericho like brings you like actual Santiago closer as he's holding the little blade out.
Santiago's like busy staring at the blade. It's just like, the fuck is that?
I have a lot to tell you. I'm really sorry. I have kept a lot of secrets from you, but we can deal with that when we're out of here.
And he's like, all right, but who the fuck is no, okay, that's your version of that one. That's your version of that one.
Yep.
Why does he look like a fucking nerd?
Maybe, and you see that Jericho is just like, maybe there was a time in my life where I wanted to be a nerd. Okay,
You're already a nerd. Like, this guy's like nerd derogatory.
Oh, am I nerd affectionate?
Always.
Thank you. And he points over to the to Santiago version 2. That is Santi derogatory. Very derogatory.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know.
No, don't like him.
Yeah, me either. Will I die if you destroy this thing? Like, will my body die? Is this my body? I kind of haven't been asking questions about this.
I think Vida is like looking around here and looks at the both of you and says, well, no, but it could damage some things. But, you know, that is a very difficult question to answer because we've not had this happen before. You see, when you came here and stayed here, it changed how everything here worked. We are entwined with the both of you strongly. It's now your duty to, should you want to escape, pry yourselves away from here.
Santiago hesitates and then looks at Jericho. Do you want me to be out there with you?
John, what even is that question? Of course I do.
Jericho, I've been so... I haven't been the best to you.
And I you. But that's part of us, right? We mess up and we will keep messing up. I know we will. I know I will make you mad and I know I will make you mad. But
I said the same thing twice. Yeah,
I'm sorry. This has been a very difficult journey, John. I want this future for us. I want to be different and better, and I want you there. All of you. I don't want that, and he points at Santiago derogatory. I want you, and I want us, with all of our drama, with all of our mess, and maybe along the way we get a little better.
I think that sounds amazing.
And maybe I don't always pull a spontaneous thing on you, and maybe I just sit down and hang out for a while.
And maybe I talk to you better. And then Santi derogatory is like, and maybe you shut up. You program, and it looks at Vida. And
yes? This is Santiago derogatory.
Yes.
Saying this. Vida looks at Santiago derogatory and goes, "No, I have one more application to execute."
And behind Vida on the other side, Jericho, derogatory nerd, says, "You will not execute any other programs. End your task."
And Vida, stands strong, looks at both of Jericho and Santiago, the real ones. And as Vida looks at the both of you, he says, "It's time now. It is going to be hard. But don't forget the truth you have learned from me." And Vida's going to turn around, grab both of Santiago derogatory and Jericho derogatory by the collar, and all the both of us see is a tempestuous whirlwind of rust that spins out of the three of them and hurtles the two of us finally into this gauntlet of hope and regret. Without the intervention of 3 programs, the final application has been executed. For the audience at home, the Gauntlet of Hope and Regret is what determines the ending of the story. We have keepsakes. How many keepsakes do you have?
I have 3.
Santiago? Yeah, 3 keepsakes. And how many harm do you have?
3.
3. Amazing. I currently have, I believe, I have 2 harm. And I have 3 keepsakes. So, in this Gauntlet of Hope and Regret, the couple must reflect on the things that make them happy or sad. With each harm is a negative memory. And the number of harm is proportional to the number of negative memories that you have. But we can heal that harm with our keepsakes. And so here is the question that we would like to ask is, how many harm do you like to heal, Santiago?
Oh, I can choose not 3.
I just know who you are, so yes.
You don't have to come at me like that.
You think I did not know who I'm playing with? You think I'm not aware of who I'm playing with? You think I don't know?
You're making me choose. I think there's something negative that has to be said.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to heal 2 harm.
You will heal 2 harm. Yes. I will choose to heal 1 harm, which gives me 1 negative memory. And I believe... I'm just double checking the rules so I'm not misremembering. Yeah, so you then use 1 keepsake. If you have 3 harm and 2 keepsakes, you can enter with 1 negative memory and 3 positive memories. So, amazing. So, I'm trying to remember what constitutes your memory.
I think we just say
8 short memories, 4 to each player. All right, so that means, so we have 8 memories. I healed 1 harm. So I've got 7 memories and 1 negative memory. I believe is the
No,
way
you
we
have
read it.
3 positive memories and 1 negative memory.
3
And
positive
I
memories
have
and 1
3
negative.
positive
Alright.
3 positive memories and 1 negative memory.
Alright. Amazing. And with that, now that we've explained the rules, we will enter the gauntlet. The tempest blows and billows us into this tempest of rust and of this rust dust, reminiscent of the calamity that's hit our home. And I think Jericho clings onto you, Santiago, and after a bewildered shriek or two, is like grips onto you for dear life and just says, I really wish the final challenge didn't have to be this.
And Santi looks is a little bit more ready, I think, and puts his hands on Jericho's face and makes him look into his face and is just like, we are here together.
Yes, we're here together. We're here together. We'll get through this together.
My love, do you remember when we first faced this storm?
I do. And I remember how tightly you held on to me. Through the pain, through the rust, through all the disaster it had wrought upon our home. And all who we have left behind. Love, do you remember when I had first met you?
Oh, darling, I do. When I held you and looked at you like you were the worst pain in my side. But I couldn't help but be brought in by that smile. My love, I think around us the winds start to slow, still raging. Do you remember when we first got our home together? An apartment way too small that barely fit a bed. Kitchen at one end, bathroom at the other. Do you remember?
I do. And I think Jericho's face falls a little bit as he will now reenact that negative memory. I felt inadequate. That I couldn't give you the life that you needed, that you wanted. That I was a failure in your eyes. In that small little space. I wanted better for you. I wanted better for us.
I did not enjoy that space in the beginning. I know it made it difficult.
John, do you remember the day you brought that dog into the house?
I do.
He was slobbering and he ran everywhere. The mud got everywhere, and you said this wasn't going to be a big deal. And I don't think that dog left our compound ever.
I knew that you were angry. but I think it was the first time you ever told me how angry you were. And I felt the most stupid relief that I wasn't some pedestal in your eyes.
You are my pedestal, but you are also my partner. And honesty is what I owe you. And yes, I was upset about that dog, but he grew on me.
Mi alma. Do you remember the day before you left?
Yes, I do.
You said you would be back soon.
I know. A promise I didn't keep to you. And I'm sorry. I wanted to be better. And he lifts up his arm. I was weak to protect you. I never showed up, and I wanted to be more helpful to you. But in that process, I only hurt you more.
Santi doesn't have the words to say. He looks pained. He runs his hand carefully over Jericho's arm, saddened, but not disgusted, not hateful. Just accepting the new normal. Almost lost in it, the way his fingers traces over it.
Have I said 3 memories? Yes, I have.
Yes.
No. Yes,
No.
I have.
Yes.
Yes, I have. And have you said your 3 positive and 1 negative?
That has been. I've given
Yeah.
you 3 memories,
Yeah.
so I have
Amazing.
1 more.
1 more.
2 positive, 1 negative so far.
Okay, so that's 1 more.
Yeah.
More memory for you.
So I think you've only said 3.
3. I said 3 memories. I need 1 more positive. So
Yes.
and I think notice like hearing that tinge of pain and getting used to the new normal. Jericho closes that distance a bit more with the dust that's whipping up against yourself and him, and presses his forehead against yours. And he says, I remember when I met your sisters. When we finally told them this was going to be serious, and they both looked at each other and looked at us, and we all 4 of us knew what they were thinking, and it was finally. I didn't think they liked me, but seeing that look in their eyes of course, it's finally happened, made me feel like I had a family again.
And you did. Of course, I remember. They made fun of me so much for being so reluctant. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt anybody. Not anymore.
I know. I know.
Do you remember that concert? The moment I first told you that I loved you.
I do. I wish the guards didn't come and interrupt us so that we had to run to a different corridor so that I could have turned around and tell you properly with earnest love that you deserve, that I loved you too. Instead of the wild and carefree pulling through the crowd and debris, screaming I love you while the freaking narcs chase us down.
Jericho. That was the most beautiful I love you I've ever received. Jericho, that is you. And I love that part of you. I'm sorry if I haven't said it enough. But I love every piece of you. And he grabs your arm, and if it's okay, he finishes closing that distance and kisses you.
Jericho reciprocates. And as he pulls away, he says, and I love you in your openness and in your closeness, in your mystery and in your silence. It is comforting. There's no doubt in my mind of how much you love me.
I'm still gonna say it more.
And I'll be happy to hear it. And as the tempest grows, it is time for us to reveal our endings. And because we have exactly 6 positive memories between both of us, we get ending B.
Yes.
A bright light bursts all around us. And Jericho, with great dread and fear, finally feels himself on solid ground, on actual reality. And he pries away the wires and the makeshift helmet he has made from the debris of the cryo chamber that Santiago sleeps in. And he leaps up and he goes, Santi, are you here? Are you awake?
For a moment, there's no answer.
No, please. Santi, please, wake up. Open the door, please.
And then the door hisses and steam rolls out, and there's Santi looking confused and coughing, and it's just like, still so fucking cold.
And Jericho leaps and gives you a hug and begins like squeezing you and helping Santi warm up and holding you tight. We did it. We did it.
Oh, we fucking did it. And Santiago just curls into Jericho and like pushes his face into Jericho's chest and shoulder. You think it's still my birthday?
And Jericho pulls away, just lets out a loud, chesty laugh. Every day can be your birthday as far as I'm concerned. And he grips your hands and he says, are you ready for what comes next?
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be a piece of cake after this.
I'm sure it will. Come. A whole new world awaits us.
I hope we can farm.
And I hope we have a dog.
Alien dogs. Sorry.
Alien dogs. And with that, as the camera pans away from our 2 lovers, finally reunited, love finally winning, the screen of the cryo chamber glitches a little. And all that is left is this text. Star program rebooting. And that is the ending and our finale of They Sleep Among Stars. Thank you all so much for being here for our first ever SpiritBear AP. Thank you all so much for being here. Let us go around and do our introductions. I will start and then I'll pass it over to Victor. Hello, everybody. I'm ValiantDorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at ValiantDorian and also SpiritBear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt that I just sent you on. You can find me in terms of more recent things that are happening. Penultimate episode of Arc 1 of Transplanar RPG is happening on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come find out what my terrible decisions have brought us. It's more of the same. Hubris era. Come and check us out. And I will now pass introductions over to Vic.
Hello, everyone. I have been your Victor here in your Santiago. Damn, that was fun. You can find me tomorrow because I made good decisions about this week. Playing as your GM for the penultimate episode of Ente Luna y Sol. I know that I have some cross viewers here, and I want to say thank you because Cafe Cultivar just made affiliate because of the show. And I hope that you guys continue to support us. And then catch me next week on Wednesday for Miss Lost, the penultimate episode before holiday break, where we just leveled up to level 5 because my character just killed a Draco Lich and then almost died because it exploded into necrotic energy. It was a really leveled down Draco Lich. We're fine. We're okay. This is okay.
That was terrifying. Oh my goodness. Amazing. And of course, I'm going to have to do introductions and shout out our incredible stalwart tech producer here, Connie Chung, our GM for Transplanar RPG. You can find Connie all around the internet at by Connie Chung. That is BYCONNIECHANG. And thank you all so much for being here. Before we all head out, a huge reminder that the music in this two-shot has been given to us by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Please check out the music panel below for all of the songs. If you want to go check out more of that royalty-free music and support Kevin MacLeod, go and check out Incompetech.com. Goodness, this has been an incredible experience. Thank you for all for showing up for the first ever SpiritBear AP. There will be more, and it'll be all gay and all wonderful. And I can't wait to do more of this with all of you. And with that, it's time for us to wrap up. I'm going to find out if there's anybody that we can raid in this time. Let me see. I believe... I see D&D Jordan Lee is streaming right now. Let us go and raid D&D Jordan Lee. I will do that on my end. But in this time, so hang on there while we go and share love over there. But one more time, thank you all so much for joining us on this journey of love, grief, and turns out love does win. Yeah. Hell yeah. Feliz Dia de los Muertos, everyone. Take care.
Feliz Dia de los Difuntos for your Ecuadorians out there.
For the Ecuadorians in the chat. And I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.